Hi, my name is Scott and I live in Lakewood, Colorado. Congressman Perlmutter is my representative, and I have a couple of questions that I'd like to ask of him. But first I'd like to read a statement that he said on the House floor on March 21, 2007 about the budget. This week the House Budget Committee will prepare a Democratic budget that begins a process of fixing a fiscal mess created by President Bush and congressional Republicans over the last 6 years. This is not something that can be done in 1 year. After all, it took the prior Congresses and administration 6 years to turn a $5.6 trillion surplus into a $2.8 trillion deficit. That's a fiscal collapse over a 6-year period of more than $8 trillion. Now, that $5.6 trillion surplus that he talks about first appeared in a Congressional Budget Office report of January 2001, the last month of the Clinton administration. It appeared in the second sentence of the first page of the report. Now this is a 190-page report, and the actual quote was, quote, "Such surpluses are projected," let me stop there and emphasize they say projected, "to rise in the future, approaching $889 billion in 2011 and accumulating to $5.6 trillion over the 2002-2011 period." This projection was based on the temporary Clinton economy, 1999 and 2000, before the dot-com bubble burst, before the stock market bubble burst, which happened in pretty much March of 2000, and before the economy was heading into recession, which it was doing prior to President Bush taking office. So, and that projection was based on the peak trending out for 11 years. That's how they came up with the projected surplus. But in this same report, there's 11 pages of uncertainty. So my first question for Congressman Perlmutter is, did you read any of these 11 pages of uncertainties in this 190-page report? Or did you read anything past the second sentence of the first page, which states the $5.6 trillion projected surplus? Now, in the uncertainties, if you didn't, let me help you out here. Here's a couple of the uncertainties in the CBO report of January 2001. Quote, "The primary negative risk is that the current slowdown might turn into a recession. Although forecasters widely anticipated that economic activity would slow, the deceleration has been surprisingly rapid." End quote. Another one, "The longer-term outlook is also unusually hard to discern at present." End quote. Another one, quote, "That the budget might fall into deficit in 2006 even without policy changes." End quote. In other words, before President Bush was even elected, they say, well, even if the same Clinton policies were maintained, we could still fall into budget deficit by 2006. So my question to Congressman Perlmutter, do you not believe that this is an unethical statement that you made in March of 2007? Why would you make a statement in 2007 when you already knew that the dot-com bubble had burst in 2000, the stock market bubble had burst, and that the economy was headed well into recession prior to President Bush taking office? My last question for Congressman Perlmutter is, would you like to retract that statement on March 21, 2007 about the $5.6 trillion surplus? It was misleading and unethical. Now you can post a comment to this video with the facts for the American people. And in the future, we're always going to be watching your statements for the facts and any misleading representations.